もう先輩ったら、あんまり見ちゃダメですよ。
I knew that I should probably look away, but my instincts overcame my reason.
そんなこと言ったって。
Suddenly, the door opened without warning.
は?
That's just gamer girl. Everything froze for a moment as I would do. Tokyo Tomare. Kazuki appeared for just a moment before she vanished. Reminds me of Suzume Haruhi, actually. There was like one moment, like that one time, you know, just a random person came in and was like, well, Suremono, and then he sees like two people in the room. They're like, well, sorry for interrupting, bye bye. A moment later, I heard a furious pounding on the walls. Yeah, because she was like, okay, I was wondering why. Well, she was like holding up her skirt, I guess. Yeah, that was what she was doing before, so that's why it was super awkward. Anyway, October 22nd. 4 days had passed since someone had pushed Aramura down the stairs. Nothing else has changed for her since then. Only things between us. Well, maybe not too bad, probably. And tomorrow was the 23rd. The day of the brain-dead incident 6 years ago. I spent the whole day online looking for new information and found something interesting. It was the news that the burnt headless body of a man had been found.
本当に行くんですか?
嫌なら無理に付き合ってくれとは言わないけど。
Arumura's expression was clouded, but she shook her head. After school that day, we'd gone to visit none other than Kunasato. I wasn't very happy about the idea, but it was the best way to find out about the news I seen this morning. Of course, Detective Shinjo probably knew more about the case, but he worked for the police. Even if we'd been attacked by Haida earlier, he probably wouldn't be willing to give us the latest information. But Kunasato had built up a relationship of trust with the police. It looked to me that between the two, she had the upper hand in her relationship with Shinjo. She's the dom. Which meant that she might know something.
じゃあ行くけど、本当にいいのか?
I asked Otamura one last time before we went inside.
だって、ここ女の人の部屋ですよ。宮代先輩、そんなところに一人で行くつもりですか?
確かに女子が一緒の方が話は聞いてくれるだろうけどさ。
I didn't really like her either, and honestly, I didn't want to rely on her help, but I had no choice if I wanted that information. And I wasn't really relying on her help, I was using her.
私が言ってるのはそういうことじゃなくて。
じゃあ、どういうことだ?
だから、いいです。なんでもないです。
おい、部屋の場所知らないんじゃないのか?
Aramura stormed ahead of me angrily. I followed after her into the apartment building.
誰だ?
僕です。宮代拓。
Okay, just a little home visit to Mio's place. Well, we went to her place one time, I guess. I can't remember. Was this a timeline where we did like go into her like a room before? I guess so. Otherwise, we wouldn't know where she lives. Same as always. Kunasato let us in much easier than I thought she would. I had been worried she'd turn us away at the door, but I guess I was wrong. Her room was still in a terrible shape. I could see the Shibuya news screen on her PC. She looked like she was editing something. Yes. Gotta do that content. Oh, she's in casual clothes. I wonder what that what this necklace, is. But anyway. Kurosato spoke before we even had a chance.
どうしてそれを？
ギガロマニアックスのお二人がわざわざこんな手狭なところにいらっしゃってくださったんだ。他に考えられる心当たりはない。
相変わらず嫌味な人。
ご想像の通り、昨べの焼死体について何か情報はないかと思って来たんです。
There's no point in pissing her off if it meant we didn't get the information we needed. I quickly moved between them. This wasn't really something I was good at, but I didn't have a choice.
どこまで知っている？
その一通り情報として出ていることは。
The location was a multi-purpose building in Hatsudai. The victim was a man between his mid-30s and late 50s. He'd been burnt so badly his body had turned to ash, and the police had no idea who he was. They were working to ID him. Okay, so someone has been burned to death? Did that happen last time? I don't think it did, as far as I know. That much had been announced this morning. I looked back over it just in case before I came here, and nothing new had come out.
ならば、それが全てだ。それ以上のことは一切分かっていない。
それは箝口令が敷かれているってことですか？
いや、警察の方でもまだつかめていないようだ。どうやら先月の太陽嵐の影響でまたシステムが不安定になっているのだそうだ。被害者が渋谷以外の人間の場合、紹介も一苦労らしい。システムにばかり頼りすぎるとこういうことになるという見本のようなものだな。
Since Arura hadn't spoken up, what Kunosato had said was probably true.
それで久野里さんはこの事件どう見ます？
それはニュージェネの再来と関係があるかどうか聞いているのか？
まあそういうことです。
私にはその質問に答える義務はない。
I figured. I thought she might say that, so I didn't feel surprised or disappointed. But surprisingly, she asked me something instead.
お前はどう思っている？
僕ですか？
お前もこれまでの事件を追ってきたのだろう。それならば一応の考えはあるはずだ。そいつを聞かせてみろ。
I hated to tell her just because she asked me, but there's no point in arguing. I decided to just tell her what I thought.
この事件にはこれまでのものと比べていくつかの相違点があります。まずは場所。
All the other incidents had taken place in Shibuya proper. Hatsudai was part of the Shibuya Ward, but most people considered it a part of Shinjuku. Yes, the Shinjuku singularity? That's what I remember from that word.
それから年齢の問題。
It's a side story you can do in Fake Go. But anyway. All the previous victims had been in their teens or early 20s. This time, the victim was middle-aged. It was closer to Dad's generation than ours.
つまりこれまでの事件とは無関係だということか？
そう考えていいんじゃないかと。
The fact that the body had been burnt to death made me think of Haida Riko. But Haida was in police custody right now. She couldn't be responsible. And today was the 22nd. It was one day too early for the brain dead case.
そこまで結論が出ているのならわざわざ私に聞く必要もないだろう。
I was assuming, well, I don't know, when did we hear about this, like, body that was burnt to death? Maybe it was, like, pretty recently, because maybe I wasn't paying attention, but it just seems like it came out of nowhere. Look at the log. Yeah, okay, so it was right in the beginning of the scene, we found something interesting. Burnt, headless body of a man. It was also headless. It's interesting. I don't know. I mean, we don't have to, like, follow, the thing is, we know the mastermind is Serika, right? At least in the original timeline. We don't know, maybe the mastermind has changed in this timeline, but usually in the main one anyway, she was trying to follow the the new generation man is killings, all just to set up, you know, Takeru's like purpose, I guess. But she doesn't have to follow it, you know. If there's some change in plans, she could just do something else. So maybe this like burnt body is like a setup for something else, but I'm not sure.
じゃあ
そもそも今のところ30代以上でのギガロマニアックス発症例はない。ということは少なくとも被害者はギガロマニアックスではないということだ。
In other words,
偶然か便乗か。いずれにしてもこれまでの事件とは無関係だろうな。
well, you know, the rule of fiction, if it has nothing to do with the case, then why bring it up at all, you know? Maybe not directly related, but it has something to do with the plot, maybe.
とりあえず関係ないってのは一安心だな。
嘘。
え？
先輩、本当はもう少し事件が続いてくれてもよかったのにって思ってるじゃないですか。
Yeah, that's the whole, like, you know, theme, I guess. The first route. I hadn't realized it, but if Aramura said so, then maybe I did. Maybe I wanted something to happen to break the boredom.
私はまだ安心できません。だって。
Aramura squirmed uneasily. It made sense. Just the other day, someone might have pushed her down the stairs.
ごめん、そんなつもりじゃなかった。
いえ、私の方こそちょっと過敏になってるのかも。
送るよ。
ありがとうございます。
Aramura held my hand the whole way back. Her hand felt tiny and very frail. Well, the next day was the 23rd. That was the day of the brain-dead incident 6 years ago. Nothing interesting happened in Shibuya that day. November 6, 2009, Friday. Okay. Nothing happened. Oh, weird. Or, well, maybe nothing had happened yet. Rather. Aramura Hinae was in downtown Shibuya when it happened. Her brother's birthday was in a week. What should she get him for a present? She had taken the allowance she saved up over the last several months and gone into the city alone. Every year, she and her brother would both celebrate each other's birthdays, just the two of them. Hinae would give her brother a present, and he'd say thank you and give her something back, even though it wasn't her birthday. Well, that's weird. It always made her so happy. What should she get him this year? She wanted to get him something he would keep forever. Something he could wear would be best. Clothes were outside her budget, and gloves or muffler would only be useful in winter. But what about a wallet? Just when she decided to go into a slightly grown-up department store, the huge earthquake struck Shibuya. It was the disaster they called the Shibuya earthquake. Hinae didn't really remember the moment it happened. 1 second, there was a bright light that flooded her field of vision, and the next second, everything had changed. The walls of the buildings had collapsed. The asphalt had split open. And here and there, she could hear people moaning in pain. It was like something out of a dream or a nightmare. She didn't know what happened. She quickly dialed her brother, but not only did he not pick up, she couldn't even hear it ring. Since she had nothing else to do, she decided to head for home. Only when she stood up did she realize that she'd been hurt all over. Her knees were cut open, she'd hit her back, she scraped her cheeks against the ground. And all of Shibuya was in panic. The buildings looked like they could fall down at any moment. A car had smashed into a store and was giving off black smoke. Everyone in Shibuya was running to the station in search of a way out. It was hard for a tiny little Hina to go against the crowd, and she was almost pushed down many times as she headed for home. She didn't honestly remember how long it took her to get back to the condo where she lived. She just remembered that she felt so tired. But when she saw her condo building, all that exhaustion vanished. The building hadn't collapsed, but it was tilting and looked like it could fall over at any time. The people who'd escaped from inside were standing a good ways away and looking up at it. Some people tried to go inside to get their valuables, others tried to stop them. She saw her parents there.
Hinae, 無事だったのか?
Maybe they'd happened to come home early, or maybe they raced over here after the earthquake. Either way, they were injured, but alright. But there was someone missing. Well, you see, he's dead. She looked around and didn't see him. Her parents didn't answer, but she could tell where her brother was from when she could tell where her brother was from where her mom was looking. Okay, oh, we're looking at a corpse. Okay. The condo building was tilted and could fall over at any time. Who knew what was going on inside?
Hinae.
Her father slowly shook his head. She dodged past her father's outstretched hands and ran to the building. Of course, the elevator didn't work. She ran up the stairs, which were only barely still functional, and headed for her condo. All the exhaustion she felt was totally gone. All she was thinking about was her brother. All she wanted was for him to be safe. Their condo was a disaster. There's no sign left of the life they'd lived. But that didn't matter to her. She screamed, again and again. Oh, he's not already dead. The parents just gave up on him. Okay. She heard a small moan from under the rubble. She ran over and saw her brother. Well, not completely dead anyway. He was alive. Her brother was alive. Lost a lot of blood though. She swallowed her words. Her brother's body was half buried on the rubble and he couldn't move. You know, I don't know you can do that, Hinae. That's a lot of things to move. If only Hinae was a bodybuilder, you know, maybe she could have saved her brother. You know, maybe that could have been her wish. Instead of like telling the truth from lies, instead she got a six-pack. Anyway, she tried to lift it off, but she was far too weak to even budget. She tried so hard to move the rubble that her nails broke and blood began to drip from her fingers. But she still kept trying. Her mom and dad had betrayed her. The one bond she had, the one truth she had was her brother. It was the one thing that kept her going. But she didn't know why her brother was suddenly apologizing. Ah yes, so not blood related, so therefore the incest was not incest at all, maybe? I don't know. It was a sudden confession. What was he talking about? They weren't brother and sister? What did he mean? He kept talking even though Hina didn't understand what he was saying. Ah yes, of course. I mean, that's not really a surprise, considering her mom's cheating and her dad's cheating. I mean, at that point. It's just, you know, adding another parameter to the whole NTR family, I guess. Suddenly the whole world went black.
ずっと言うべきじゃないって思ってた。隠しておくべきだって。お前が大きくなるまでは。でももう俺はだから。
Though I guess it would still be incest, though. I mean, because she's still blood related. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess half siblings? I guess?
ごめんひな。
Still counts.
隠していて。
It's not like she was adopted, so... Well, it was a shock. She wasn't her mom and dad's daughter. Her brother wasn't her real brother. But the biggest shock to Hinae was that her brother had been lying to her. After all the times he told her not to lie. He'd said he wouldn't lie to her anymore, but he'd been concealing something so important. She couldn't believe it. It was a cry from her heart. And she got her powers, and then she saw something in the corner of her eye. It was twisted and beautiful, very anime. It was like some kind of enchanting creature, but cold like something inorganic. Something like a sword, you know what I'm saying? But it never looks like a sword, it looks like keyblades from Kingdom Hearts.
ごめんひな。でもこれは本当のことなんだ。
Suddenly, she knew he was telling the truth. It wasn't just intuition. She knew. She knew somehow. For some reason, she knew that his words were true. As she stood there in shock, suddenly she was knocked backward and almost fell to her feet.
ここは危ない。行けひな。お兄ちゃん。頼む。お前だけは生きてくれ。
There was truth in his cry. She staggered back just as the roof in front of her fell in. Blech. The dust rose up so thick she couldn't see her brother anymore. Again, if only she would. I mean, maybe that's part of her regret, actually. You know, she wished from the bottom of her heart to learn the truth, and that's the power she got. But it's kind of useless at this situation. She really should have wished for, like, you know, muscles or something. You know, that could have helped. Oh well. No. Blech. Those were the last words she ever heard him say. Hey, at least he told the truth at the end, you know? No. October 26, 2015, Monday. There you go, there's at least a bit of death in this whole, like, in this entire route. It was all, like, mostly like a dating sim, but at least we see some blood and death, you know? This is what I'm waiting for. I mean, come on, it's a murder mystery. I want to see some murder. Even though that wasn't really murder, but, you know.
あれって D 組の子でしょ？私1年の時同じクラスだったんだけど。
The whole school was talking about a new incident that had taken place.
もうみんな知ってると思うが、新たな事件が起きた。
Okay, so there is a new death.
しかも被害者は碧峰学園の2年生女子。つまりこの学校の生徒だ。
Who was it? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's anyone we know, because Takaru is not, like, panicking and vomiting everywhere. Usually that happens when someone close to them gets killed. Because of that, we had an emergency assembly this morning. The school staff was busy dealing with the second big incident after the Watabe case, and most classes were study halls. They should have just made it a half day, but since the media were outside, they kept us until the full day was over. It was only after school that we were able to have our meeting. Here's what we knew about the case. According to the police announcement, the murder took place sometime after 11 o'clock p.m. last night. Shibuya was always pretty busy, even at that hour. The area where the murder took place was isolated and at times could be almost empty. The cause of death was blood loss. The victim had been stabbed multiple times with a sharp blade, and the area around her was said to be a sea of blood. 27 stab
こ
wounds.
の事件どう思う？
Like always, Ito was the first to answer.
どうってのはこれまで起きたニュージェネの再来と同じかどうかってことか？
もちろんそれも含めていろいろだよ。
関連があるかどうかって言われたら明らかに違うだろう。
どうしてそう思うの？
どうしても何もそもそも起きた日が違う。それに明らかに手口も普通だ。猟奇性の面から見ても関連性があるとは思えん。
Is this the wrong day? Apparently? I guess so. I thought it was the right day. Kazuki was actually involved in the conversation for once. She nodded in agreement, but Kurusu shook her head.
何言ってるの。刃物でめった刺しなんてそれだけで十分猟奇的じゃない。
いや、そりゃそうだけど、俺が言いたいのはつまりこう方向性みたいな、犯罪の醸し出す色っつうか雰囲気っつうか、要するに不可解なところがないってこと。
確かに手を切って食べたとかお腹の中にスピーカーがとかそういうのとは違うよね。
だろ？だからやっぱ関係ないんじゃねえの？
The murder just isn't as creative, I guess. Evidently, everyone agreed with Ito's opinion.
宮代、お前はどうなんだよ？
僕も伊藤と同じ意見だ。残念ながらこれまでの事件とは無関係だと思う。
ちょっとタクル、残念ながらってどういうこと？
Crap, I'd accidentally said out what I was thinking.
いい？あなたは狙われたのよ。下手をしたらあなたが面白がっているその被害者の人たちと同じようになっていたかもしれないのよ。わかってる？
We're enjoying their deaths. Amazing.
わかってるよ。
More death, more destruction. Oh, here we go again.
そもそも今回の被害者はこの学校の生徒なのよ。同じ学校で過ごしている女の子が亡くなったの。面白がっている場合じゃないでしょ。
だから何度も言わなくったって大丈夫だってそう言ってるだろ。
Why was Kurusu here at the newspaper club when a student from the school was dead anyway?
今私たちがするべきことは全校生徒に注意を促すための記事を書くこと。これは先生方からも頼まれた新聞部としての役目なの。これはそのための会議なんだからそこを忘れないで。
わかってるってば。
それから
生徒会会長のクルスさん、至急生徒会室まで来てください。繰り返します。生徒会会長のクルスさん。
ほら呼んでるぞ。
それじゃあ行ってくるけど、くれぐれも今言ったこと忘れちゃダメだからね。
Kurusu nagged me one more time before she ran out of the room.
のんちゃん忙しいのにわざわざ来てくれたんだね。
それだけ宮代が信頼されてないってことだな。いや、逆に信頼されてるってことか？どっちだ？
どっちだっていいよ。それより話に戻るぞ。
Thanks to Kurusu's interruptions, I've forgotten how much we've covered. Right.
今回の被害者はうちの2年ってことだが、有村や尾上はこの被害者のこのことは知らなかったのか？
Arumura's here.
私は1年の時何度か言葉を交わした程度なら学校休みがちな子だったみたいだし。
私もよくは知らない。クラスの子の話だと学校サボって遊び回ってるって話だったけど。
Since the murder had taken place past 11 o'clock p.m., it wasn't hard to imagine.
でもちょっと怖いかも。事件のあったところって
私も学校の行き帰りに通る道だし。
そうなのか。
うん、ほら言ったでしょ、この前の階段であの近くだから、ちょっと気味悪いかも。
Somebody had tried to push Haramura down the stairs. Given that it was near the scene of the murder, maybe it was just some sicko trying to kill little girls.
まあやっぱ今回のは今までのとは関係ないってやつだよ。
There's some sicko trying to kill all the waifus. Oh no.
言い方は悪いが、遊び歩いてた女がたまたま変質者にやられたか、あるいは地上のもつれってところか。
いくらなんでもそれはないよ。だって高校生だよ。地上のもつれって言ったら、その男子と女子がゴニョゴニョなことでしょ。
What? Gunyu?
小学生かよ。高校生にもなりゃ地上でもつれることだってあるだろう。
そうなの？世の中の高校生はそうなの？もつれちゃうの？ねえ、タク。
そりゃ子供じゃないんだし、そういうことだってあるんじゃないか。
そうなんだ。じゃあ花ちゃんももつれちゃったりするの？
She frantically denied it. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen with Kazuki. Anyway, we were getting off track.
しかしまあ同じ学校のやつが殺されたってのは気持ちいいもんじゃねえよな。
A student from my school. In that sense, this victim was the one who had been closest to us. What did that mean? The next one is Aramura, maybe.
すっかり遅くなっちゃいましたね。
うん。
考えてみればもう11月ですもんね。そういえば復興祭って来週でしたっけ？
うん。
Even if this is case, the last one had nothing to do with the other murders, I was starting to think that maybe that didn't mean that the return of the new generation madness was over. At first, I thought that Hidoriko was responsible for all of them. No, I only been convinced of that because of the terror I felt after being attacked. But after I calmed down, it felt like there were things I couldn't explain if she was doing this on her own. And there was that underground lab too. If an organization big enough to make something like that lab was involved, Hidoriko might just have been the tip of the iceberg. Unfortunately, the police hadn't gotten any useful information out of her, so there's no way of knowing if she was connected to something bigger or not. Even if she was responsible, she didn't know why she committed her murders on the same days as the new generation madness. Was it some kind of message? Was it to make it more sensational? Either way, if there was something bigger behind her, we'd already been a target once. Maybe we couldn't relax just yet. Suddenly, someone grabbed both my cheeks and bringing me back to my senses.
さっきから話してるのに全然聞いてない。
ごめん。なんだっけ。
だから復興祭一緒に行こうねって話です。
一緒か。
もう約束ですよ。
She let go of my cheeks and then gently rubbed them. I felt kind of embarrassed.
それじゃあ私はあっちなんで。
送っていこうか。
There was that murder yesterday, and then the thing with the stairs before it. Of course, I was a little worried too, but as a man, it was time to show up. Oh yes, like Amiyashiro.
大丈夫です。ちゃんと人通りの多いところ通っていくから。
でも。
Suddenly, Aramura leaned up and I felt something soft on my cheek. Oh, Kisu? By the time I realized it was her lips, she had already pulled away.
アディオスグラッシャー。
Before I could say something, she smiled, said her goodbye, and vanished into the crowd. I was suddenly overcome by the idea that she has big, giant death legs on her. I mean, overcome by the idea that she's going to vanish forever. I mean, actually, yeah, that's true. I drove the unpleasant thought from my head and headed for home, feeling just a little excited. Waku waku doki doki. I could still feel a soft warmth on my cheek. October 26th, 2015, Moon Day. Just like she promised Takeru, Amura Hinae stuck through the busy roads on her way back. She remembered Takeru's face when they said goodbye. He was probably scared himself, but he was holding it in and pretending to be brave. Anybody could see he was just putting on an act. It was easy to figure out, and that made Hinae feel at peace. Everyone was hiding their true feelings, their truth deep within their heart. There's nothing true in this world at all. That's what she thought that day. Never tell a lie. Her brother had been the one who taught her that, but he still didn't tell her what was really important. He didn't tell her the truth. So where was the truth? That was a question she'd been grappling with for the last 6 years. A friend she made just recently had asked if she wanted to see her brother. Hinae almost never talked about herself, but she'd been talking about her family. And then her friend had asked her. She didn't know why. But the question had surprised her and she nodded yes. She didn't hate her brother for lying to her. And even if she did, he was gone. Because on that day, she left him to die. So instead, she felt guilty toward him. If she could meet him, she wanted to apologize. The crosswalk sign turned red and Hinae stopped walking. Even at night, Shibuya was crawling with people. With this many people around, she thought, it wouldn't be easy for someone to attack her. I wouldn't count on it. As soon as the traffic light turned green, the cars started to move. And then... boop! I knew it. Someone pushed her hard and she staggered out into the street. The headlights were bearing down on her before she even had time to think. Well, it's time for Aramura to get isekai'd. When she finally opened her eyes, the car bumper was just a few centimeters from her face.
Oi, 大丈夫か? 何やってんだよ。危ねえな。
The people waiting for the light started to make a fuss. The sound of a dozen car horns echoed off the sides of the buildings. But Hinae didn't hear any of that. She was only looking at one thing. It was the place she'd been standing a moment ago. Just before she'd almost been hit, she looked up and seen them. Nani? Jingo? He's come back from the grave to take revenge. You know? He's gonna punish her for, like, replacing him with Takeru. I'm your Oni-chan. I'm your only Oni-chan. If I can't have you, then no one can. Ah, Yandere brother from the dead, I guess. From hell. It was her dead brother, Shingo. Well, what a twist. As it turns out, there's zombies in this world as well. You know, not just like egomaniacs and anime swords and everything. I guess there's just the undead as well. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's an illusion. You know, maybe that, you know, maybe it's not really Shingo, but we'll see, I guess. I look at the clock and it was past 3 a.m. I started looking around to see if there was any new information on the case, and the next thing I knew, it was really late. But I didn't end up finding anything new, and as I read, I ended up focusing on something else. There was an article about how a company called Koshin that was involved in the Restoration Festival had put up security cameras all over town and been subject to a lawsuit. The situation had gotten pretty complicated, and by the time I finished reading, it was really late. And also, again, thinking about Aramura, actually, I remember Well, there was that one time she got pushed off the stairs, and again, we saw recently she got pushed into the road. Was there another point? Even before that, during her like date with Takaru, she also just like tripped over nothing. You know, I was wondering like what is it? Like, is it really like a zombie coming back from the grave pushing her, or is it like some weird like delusion she's having? You know, where she's like tripping over something only because she's unconsciously trying to like kill herself? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway.
さすがに寝るか。
It'll be mind control as well. I mean, Sakama's still alive. He's just mind controlling everyone. Don't worry about it. It wasn't true that caffeine stopped you from getting sleepy. Yeah, that is true. I always drank caffeine before bed, and I was always able to sleep. Well, it's probably not a good idea, though. When I opened my fridge to get my late-night Mountain View, I realized I had a big problem.
ない。
Ah, no more Mountain View. I had forgotten that I drank my last bottle yesterday. Well, for Takaru, it's most likely he's just immune to caffeine at this point. You know, he's just drank so much caffeine that it doesn't really work on him anymore. Not exactly healthy.
我慢するか。
Or so I thought, but... Because, you know, what caffeine usually does is, like, it tricks your brain, basically, into thinking you have energy. But obviously, if you're already sleepy and you drink a lot of caffeine and everything, you're just gonna, like, crash, basically. Because your brain will think it has energy, but then once you run out of fuel in the tank, well, that's when you die. Maybe not die, but, you know, you'll probably just collapse from exhaustion. Once you found out that you couldn't drink something you wanted to drink, it became an obsession. That's just human nature, is it? Caffeine was addictive. Maybe I was undergoing withdrawal. It is true. It's very addictive. But the convenience store I have to go in order to get the Mountain View was a bit of a walk from here. In the end, however, I couldn't defeat my own desires. I went out into the city late at night to get my Mountain View. I need Mountain View. What a funny voice actor. With the way that he read that line. Arigatou gozaimashita. After I succeeded in purchasing several bottles of Mountain View, I took one and opened it as soon as I stood outside on the sidewalk. I'm drinking water. My body felt like it had been purified. Just as I thought that now I'd been able to sleep, I suddenly remembered all the murders that had happened so far. I suddenly felt afraid of the situation I was in. I was in Shibuya in the middle of the night, in a place that was almost empty at this hour. Probably not a good idea. Curse our Mountain View addiction. Sudden fear gripped me and I started to run, only to trip on something. Everyone's just tripping. Evidently, I ran into a trash can. You ran into your waifu? There usually wasn't a trash can here. I felt a dull pain where my body had hit the ground. I hadn't been holding the bottle tightly, so the cap on my Mountain View had fallen off and the bottle was leaking. Ah, what a waste. I sat up and stretched out my hand to grab the bottle, only to touch something else. It wasn't a plastic bottle. It was a dead body. I don't know, actually. It was softer. Like clay. I slowly looked up. It probably is a dead body. Well, what I saw made me gasp. It wasn't a trash can. It was a laundry basket with wheels. At first, I thought the thing that fell out from inside was a mannequin or something. It was strangely cold and a little black. But the soft feeling against my skin and the way its eyes were open told me that it was no mannequin. Oh, it's funny how I assume this is the new generation man that's killing, right? Is this the killing that we're supposed to expect? It's funny how we always just end up in the crime scene these days, you know? After, like, the first few killings, we always just end up in the place where people get killed, I guess. It was... A dead body. Oh, no shit.
であるから、この場合、テンピーは。おい、今何時だと。ああ、宮代か。座れ。
な、宮代ってさ。
知ってる知ってる。またでしょ。ちょっとすごくない？いくら空前だからって。
静かにしなさい。授業を続けるぞ。
タク、聞いたよ。
な、昨日の話、早く聞かせろよ。
After I found the body in the alleyway this morning, I called the police. By the time they were done questioning me, it was almost lunchtime. I hadn't slept a wink last night. Well, good thing you had that mountain view, I guess. Keep you awake. But I was feeling so tense that it didn't matter. The whole school had heard about how I found a body, and I could hear people talking about it as I passed them by. I could understand why. This was the third body I'd been the first person to discover. I might have been the only person in the whole wide world to discover 3 bodies in just over a month. 3 bodies? I'm trying to think. I mean, he found the Love Hotel one, right? What's the one after that? I don't remember. Was it Watabe? Was it like Love Hotel and then Watabe? Because technically he didn't find Watabe's body. Everyone found Watabe's body. You know, at least the students in the assembly hall anyway. He wasn't the only person, but I don't know. At this point, the police were less surprised than they were annoyed.
言っとくけど、あれは僕が自分で探したわけじゃないからな。
Kurusu had come to see me too, along with Ito and Saraka. I made sure she understood the real story.
わかってるわよ。でも、どうしてあなたばっかりそんな現場に。
Well, I mean, we know why, but...
ほんと、持ってるとしか思えないよな。
伊藤くん、前にも言ったわよね。人が亡くなってるのよ。不謹慎でしょ。
と、こりゃ失言失言。
でもタクもすっかり有名人だね。
別に僕が何かやったわけじゃないけどな。
そうよ。それにこんなことで有名になったって仕方ないでしょ。
それはそうだけど。
で、被害者は？
それはまだわからないらしい。
The police had said there was nothing on the body that could help them ID it. All they knew that it was a man in his mid-40s.
なるほどな。ってことは、やっぱあれとは無関係か。
Again?
かもな。
This case was the one most similar to the return of the New Generation Madness. But given the victim's age and the day of the murder, it was hard to say if it was related. It was too early to say for sure, though.
それで、どんなだった？
どんなって？
だから死体だよ。ネットで見る限りはめった刺しだったって話だけど。
Again?
暗かったせいで、はっきりしたことは僕もわからない。ただ、触った感じからして、死んでからそこそこ立ってるような感じではあった。
タク、触ったの？
転んだ時にたまたまな。
マジか。で、どんな感触だった？
ゴムみたいな感じだな。なんかグニュッとしてて意外と硬くて。
もう2人ともいい加減にしなさい。そんな話聞きたくないわ。
聞きたくないならどこか行けばいいだろう。
それは。
それとも本当は気になるんじゃないのか？
そんなわけないでしょ。
I kept talking with Kurusu for a moment before someone came over from the door.
有村。
宮代先輩。
Adamura looked really tired.
どうした？わざわざ。もしかしてお前も事件のことを聞きに来たのか？
事件のこと？あれ？ひなちゃん知らないの？タ らくまた見つけちゃったんだって、殺人現場。え？
From the look of things, she really didn't. I can't read. From the look of things, she really didn't know. Given how many friends she had, that was a little surprising. And the way the rest of the school had been talking about it, she should have at least heard something.
有村さん、どうしたの？なんだかいつもと違って元気がないみたいだけど。もしかして私たちがいると言いにくいこと？
いえ、そういうわけじゃ。
じゃあどうしたんだ？
Naramura still seemed like she didn't want to talk, but eventually she slowly began to speak. We see, guys. I saw my dead brother.
実は私、昨日襲われて。
襲われた？
マジかよ。
襲われたってことは命を狙われたってこと？
それで大丈夫だったの？
Everyone started to ask questions.
昨日って僕と別れたあの後か？
はい。あの後すぐスクランブル交差点で。
そんな人気の多いところで？
信号が赤に変わって待ってたらいきなり背中から突き飛ばされて。
Pushed from behind. That was the same as what had happened before. Which meant that it wasn't her imagination, someone had really pushed her. Well, I wonder about that. Again, I was wondering, like, is it her own delusion, you know? Trying to, like, kill her or something?
それで怪我は？
Because it doesn't seem very plausible that her, like, literal dead brother came back from the grave, but...
もう少しで惹かれるところでしたけど、なんとか怪我もすりむいたくらいで。
Then again, the whole gigglomaniac thing is also hard to swallow, but, you know, if you're gonna put, like, one, like, supernatural element and then add another one, you know, that's a little bit too much, I feel like. You're adding too many layers.
警察には行ったの？まだ。
どうして言わないの？
それは。
She fell silent as if it was hard to say. Someone had pushed her out into the street and in a busy intersection. She was lucky to survive. She could have easily been killed. And since it had happened twice now, it was obviously an attempt on her life. But she hadn't gone to the police. Was there someone or something she couldn't tell them about?
とにかく警察に言うべきよ。なんなら私が一緒に。
いえ。
有村さん？
実は。
Before she could say something, the door to the classroom opened. Hello. Maybe she did tell Shinjo already. She already told the police. It was Detective Shinjo. The whole classroom started to murmur at the sight of a strange man.
ああ、落ち着いてくれ。怪しいもんじゃない。
And by the way, Shinjo, Shingo, you know, is that like a coincidence? Maybe not. Well, I don't know. Is Shinjo his last name? Is like his family name, or is this like his first name? In that case, probably, you know, it's not like a big coincidence actually. But I think. Well, I don't know. Is it? I always forget. Like last name comes first, right? At least in terms of like Japanese names. So Takashi is actually his first name. Oh, anyway. He looked around the classroom until he found us, and then walked straight over.
ここだったか。
まだ何か？
いや、今用があるのは宮代くんじゃなく君だ。ちょっと来てもらえるか？
Shinjo was looking in the direction of the twin-tailed blonde waifu with the moe fangs.
私ですか？
Naramura.
君まで来る必要はなかったんだがな、宮代くん。
Shinjo said as soon as we entered the room. But that was what Aramura had wanted. She'd wanted me to be with her when she went with the police. Yes, we're her
もしかして
lawyer.
君たちは、いや、今は関係のない話だ。
Shinjo seemed like he wanted to say something when he saw the two of us, but now wasn't the time.
まあいい。同席を認めよう。どうせ遅かれ早かれ第一発見者である君の耳にも入るだろうからな。担当直入に言おう。有村ひなえさん。君には今からすぐに警察へ来てもらいたい。
警察にですか？
そうだ。
どうして？
落ち着いて聞いてもらいたい。
I had a Brad. I was gonna say I had a Brad premonition. No, I had a bad premonition.
今朝方、渋谷の路地裏で発見された他殺体は当然知ってるな。
はい。宮代先輩が。
そう、彼が発見した遺体だ。その被害者の身元が特定された。
It couldn't be.
被害者は有村光一郎。君のお父さんだ。
Well, that's a connection, I guess. Also, her dad just suddenly died. Shinjo took Aramura to the police station. She didn't come back. I waited for her to get in touch with me, but not only did I not get a call, I didn't even get a text message. Of course, her father was dead and he'd been horribly murdered. I could understand why. And I had no idea that the body was Aramura's father. Of course, I had no way of knowing. So even if I couldn't help it, I still felt ashamed of having been so excited.
ごめん、有村。許してくれ。
Well, as far as I know, she didn't really care too much about her dad.
知らなかったんだ。
But I guess, it was still her, he was still her dad, so I guess she would be pretty broken up about it though, still. Even if the relationship is a bit estranged, I guess. Is that the right word? Estranged? Not a good relationship. Right. Aramura's dad was dead. I never met him, but he was the closest I've been to any of the murder victims. And yesterday was the same day Aramura said she'd been attacked. What was going on? Was she the next target? But then who? I remember what Aramura had said this afternoon as she left the room with Shinjo.
とにかくそういうことだ。今は混乱しているかもしれんが、一応いろいろと話を聞かなければならない。それからできれば遺体の確認もお願いしたいんだが、頼めるか？
はい。
それじゃあ玄関に車を止めてやる。悪いがついてきてくれ。
有村。
兄ちゃんだわ。
え？
やったのはお兄ちゃんよ。
有村。お兄ちゃん。
I heard her say it clearly. Her brother was the killer. What did she mean? I heard that her brother died during the Shibuya earthquake. Or did she mean another brother? Well, I don't know, she might have had another brother. Or maybe he was actually alive the whole time. The more I thought, the more confused I got. Eventually, I just fell into a restless sleep.